Howdy, world. It's your cuddly booty here at the Footy Fetish Show. My voice is getting better and better by the day, and my booty is getting a little smellier by the moment. I'm still here with my partner in crime, the future manager of the U.S. national team, the Mr. Ocho Bartlett. Say hello, Ocho. What's been up with you?
It's been difficult, man, without any soccer games going on. But trying to fill that void with anything soccer related. So lately, I started on Netflix a series called The English Game, which has been really cool. It's about this Scottish footballer, to use their words, who came over to England, and I don't know how true it is, if it's based on a real story, but this guy basically brought over to England the idea of actually passing the ball and using space on the field. That's at least where the Netflix series has started. It's been pretty interesting so far. And then also I watched some older Champions League finals. I watched Milan and Liverpool 2005, which was that was a dagger to the chest, man. That one hurt. Ah.
Why is that? You don't like Liverpool?
Yeah, well, when you go up 3-0, you don't expect to lose, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
So that was rough. But it's been, hey man, I've been keeping productive and trying to, use my time wisely while we're quarantined. So
It's a beautiful thing. I did see the English game. It's on my list. Uh, just just finished a couple of things myself. I'm working on the Americans. If you guys have ever seen that show, that's a phenomenal one. Westworld that's coming up next. Yours truly, Ocho told me about. Gotta check that out.
hey, it's a good one.
So yeah, it's on my list. Other than that, I did watch the '06 World Cup final the other day. The headbutt, the Zidane. Yeah, the Zidane farewell. That was pretty fun.
Forza
Um,
Italia.
Yeah, I forgot about how much of a dive that was for him to even get that PK in the beginning. It's great to go back and remind yourself of some things, you know. But
Definitely
that being said, our soccer world has to keep on spinning. So
heard that.
today we got an episode for you, folks. It's gonna knock your socks off. It's one that we've been trying to get out there for a little while now. I'd say a couple of months now. We've been working on this one.
Yep.
The first initial project failed audio wise, so we're at it again. But the good news is we added somebody this time. You're really going to love this one, folks. It's the Arsenal FC episode. It's all Arsenal today. We're talking all Arsenal. That's it. Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. Greatest team in the world, obviously. If you hadn't heard the chant, I'll be making copies. We'll be selling albums. I'll sign them. Footy Fetish Show. But Ocho, I think we need to introduce our guests for today. We have two of the biggest Arsenal fans that I know of. Why don't you take away the introduction for our first guest, who has been on our show before?
Cool. All right, I'm excited. We'll see if these Arsenal fans can guide our Arsenal balls into the net
Yes.
and out of the Arsenal dark ages. But this first guest, he and I go way back, 2001, 2002. Naturally, we met on a soccer team, and this guest is based out of Atlanta currently, but 2001, 2002, we started playing soccer. First game, Mike, I don't know if you remember this. I mean, we got a proper smackdown. I will never forget that loss. Which actually, that loss, I think, single-handedly led us to the growth and development that we eventually got to, where we started to be able to compete on a state level. But unfortunately, Katrina came when we were peaking and relocated half of our team. So glad to see that the Storm and Arsenal's recent form couldn't keep this guest away from the beautiful game. Everyone, please welcome Mike Malone to the show. Mike, what's up? How's everything going with you?
Fellas, how y'all doing? Pleasure to be back with you guys, talking a great game. Everything's going well. Just trying to stay safe out here with everything that's going on. And, yeah, man, ready to talk some Arsenal, man.
Heard that. Speaking of that, what made you an Arsenal fan? Was there a memory? Was there an older sibling? What was it?
Well, it was just player-wise, Henri was a big influence for me. And I tell you, nothing that was really big for me, if I'm just really being real, is Arsenal was one of like the first teams I really saw on TV having a lot of like black players. You know what I mean? That was,
Interesting.
that was real for me. So just coming up, so yeah, kind of just gravitated toward it and stuck with me.
Dang, that's cool.
Sometimes I hate, I love them. So it is what it is.
Hey man, I know that feeling right now with Milan. Right now, I hate that I love him. That's cool, man. That's cool. So, Booty, didn't you say we have 2 guests on the show today?
I sure fucking did, Ocho. I got another one for you. Big Arsenal fan as well. Second guest. Got some New Orleans roots. He's based out of Houston, Texas right now. I personally had some fond memories of him with that 2016 Euro. We watched some games together. This man actually hooked me up with a great Germany jersey that I eventually spilled a shitload of beer on, had to get rid of. Hate those white jerseys. Ocho, you already know that.
Yeah, I know that.
I had this pleasure working with this gentleman for a couple of years here in New Orleans. We call him Lil Darrell. Ladies and gentlemen, the footy soldiers want to give Lil Darrell a little welcome. Welcome to the show, Lil Darrell. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for the invite. Nah, man, just here in Houston. Being in New Orleans for 2 years, working with my buddy right here, and decided to look for something different. So here I am. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely, dude. What actually made you an Arsenal fan? I don't think I've ever asked you.
Uh, Actually, let me see. First, it was my brother. But what really, really, really made me a fan is when I saw that solo goal that Thierry Henry scored on Liverpool in 2004.
Oh,
That he lit. Ever since that, I was just like, this gotta be my team, and that's my favorite player. So since then, I just been following Arsenal all the way. Even though they're not doing that good right now, but hey, it is what it is. Can't win all the time.
Heard that, man.
Yeah.
Heard that.
well, it's a pleasure to have both you gentlemen on the show. And maybe, in my opinion, I think within the last couple of games before the stoppage, which we're going to get into soon, they sure did look a lot better,
Way better.
Yeah.
especially with Arteta. So maybe things are on the up and up for you guys. To be honest with you, Arsenal is one of those teams that, me personally, Champions League doesn't seem right without seeing those guys in the Champions League. So
Yeah, it's just crazy.
maybe it's the nostalgia in me, but yeah, it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
But from that, you guys ready to jump into this?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the best way we could start this off, Ocho, is if we were only the managers of Arsenal ourselves, what kind of starting 11, what would our starting 11 look like? I'm going to pass this off to these 2 gooners we got on hands with us. Guide and caress these Arsenal balls in the net for us and give us each your best starting 11 as of right now. Mike, you want to take it away first?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to see Arsenal line up in a traditional 4-3-3 formation with kind of spread out the 2 center backs and push the fullbacks up a little bit. You got the 3 in the middle. You got an Ozil at the number 10. We'll start right there. You got Ozil at the 10. I like Ceballos and Xhaka in the midfield. I like that pairing. I think they were playing well before the end of before all this started happening. I think they were playing well together. On the right, you gotta go Pepe. Obviously, $72 million sign. You gotta play the kid. Leno in goal, who I think is, I'm gonna give De Gea his props because he's been consistent. But Bernd Leno is the number 2 keeper in the PL. I'm gonna just say that. You got Bellerin. You got Bellerin at right back. You got Bellerin at right back, and you got if he's healthy, I'm gonna go with Kieran Tierney at left back. I like what Saka's done, and I like Kolasinac, obviously, our big bully, but I'm gonna go Tierney. I think long-term potential, he's gonna be really good at the left back position. And up top, I'm gonna go Martinelli on the left wing, and I'm gonna go Alba in the middle, and I'm dropping Lacazette.
What?
Personally, Laka does a lot for the team. I love Laka. He holds up the ball. He can play passes. He works hard for the team. But I'm going with Pierre. Honestly, I feel like we wasting him on the left wing. You play him up the middle. I mean, it could be goals on goals on goals. So
Heard
that's
that.
that's what I like.
Heard that.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great way to start the show. That's a hot take.
It's a hot
A
take.
hot take to start the show. No Lacazette. Ooh.
Hey, Mike, I got to ask you, all right? So, two things. First player you mentioned was
Yeah.
Ozil at the 10. Are you building the formation around Ozil?
Nah, I'm not. But
No.
he's good. He's so important. He's so important. If you're gonna play him,
Okay.
the team's got to be. If you're gonna play him, the team's got to be suited to him. I mean, in my opinion, because otherwise he's
Okay.
just gonna be a liability out there.
So, with that being said, he needs two center midfielders that are going to, I mean, drop in and play defense. Obviously, does Ozil play more defense under Arteta now, or is
Yeah,
he still more just a creator?
I think he's been. I think Arteta's kind of forced him to play a little bit more defense. So I think he's been trying to do that. And but I like Xhaka and Ceballos in the midfield because Ceballos is the closest thing. This is a stretch, but he's the closest thing to Santi Cazorla that we've had. And when Santi Cazorla was in the midfield with Ozil, shit was beautiful.
Hmm.
Injury slowed him down. That's
Hmm.
the closest thing we've had to that. A ball carrier, guy who could win, intercept the pass here and there, but a ball carrier can make the pass. And then you got Xhaka who can play the long ball pass. So I like that pairing. Torreira, excuse me, Torreira is good as well, but he just doesn't do enough for me technically.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Now, I'm curious, Daryl,
Yes, sir.
what are you going to do differently? Are you going to keep it the same? Give me your starting 11 here.
Uh, I'm kind of torn between two formations, but I'll go with the most conservative one. I'll go a 4-4-1-1. Basically, I'll do Leno as goalkeeper. I mean, I don't think we have another option in there. I'll go with Bellerin on the right side. I'll definitely do Mustafi in the center mid, and I'll use the new signing Pablo Mari as another central defender, right beside Mustafi, and then Tierney. I mean, if he's healthy, he definitely plays there on the left side. But I'll go with Kolasinac simply because he's just a bully. You just can't go around that guy. So that would be my four defenders. In the middle, I don't know. Jack, I gotta go. I will put
Ooh.
Torreira.
Hot
I'm
take. Come
sorry,
on.
but I mean Torreira. I think Torreira has I would say the balls to be in there. Like he fights for the ball. I know you're gonna lose the long ball, but I think Torreira is the one who's gonna fight and he's gonna keep the ball in your team. He's just
Yeah.
like Conte. So I'll definitely have Torreira, and then I'll definitely have the French guy Gendouzi, simply because this kid can just break defenses. He gets the ball, he goes forward. It is nothing stopping him. He's just full of energy. On the right side, I'll definitely do Pepe. Um, and then on the left side, I think I'll do
Hmm.
Aubameyang, and then the two forwards, then it'll be Ceballos and Lacazette.
Interesting.
Well, Ceballos will be more like a 10, and then Lacazette will be the striker there.
Okay, so 4-4-2. I just want to break this down. All right. So you're doing Torreira and Gunduzi in the middle as your 4-4-2.
Yep,
And then Ceballos, who can play as a 10, he can play pretty much anywhere in the midfield.
yep,
It's like your second striker playing off Lacazette.
yep. Lacazette, he'll be like the central forward. And then
Okay.
Aubameyang and Pepe on the flanks.
Now, Aubameyang and Pepe are in a 4-4-2. Are you having them tuck in so that Bellerin and Tierney slash who's the other guy? Kolasinac? Are they also coming down the flanks? And your
Uh,
two.
Batman will run like towards the center, like Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's good at
Okay.
it too. He runs
All
behind
right.
defenses like that. Nobody will see him coming. And then I'll definitely have Tierney just running up and down the flanks. Bellerin and Pepe, I'll keep more like a conservative position. I wanted to keep more of their positions simply because Bellerin's good going up, but lately I just been seeing he been struggling when it comes to defending.
Mm,
Pepe, he's good dribbling and everything, but I think just defending he's not as good as as I think he should be, because I think he can offer more defensive wise. But I'll just play more a conservative position with them, like a old school winger, an old school what do you call these guys, uh right back.
gotcha.
So basically, Aubameyang will play more like another forward, running diagonal. You just
Yeah,
use his
yeah.
speed.
You're basically allowing him to kind of get to the center of the field
Oh yeah,
and play his true position as like a number 9
oh yeah,
almost.
definitely, yeah.
Okay.
More like an
All right.
11, I would say, but yeah, more like a
Yeah,
9 too.
definitely an 11, but you're getting him inside so that Tyranny can overlap him on the outside as like
That's
a left wing.
that's right.
Okay, interesting. All right, all right.
Man, that's a great way to
Mhm.
start the show. Two hot takes. Oh, I love it.
Hey, real quick, I forgot to name my two center halves. I'm gonna go Louise and Mari.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that'll work
yeah.
Okay,
too.
So yeah, that's a good point.
that's sexy.
Daryl, why did you drop Luis from your lineup?
He hasn't been the same Luis that we saw in the Brazilian team in the 2014 World Cup, or the same one in Chelsea. It's just he'll start doing something good, and all of a sudden I think he just don't keep his concentration. I think he just loses it once in a while, and sometimes that'll cost you a game. Mari, we've seen him a few games, but I think that he could be consistent. Um, I would say this central defender they got, what's his name? It's Saliba or something like that. But he's on loan, so he's not even there.
Yeah.
Mike's going crazy right now.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
what's
kid's
up.
gonna be the one.
Yeah, I think he's like the
What?
next Rafael Varane, but he's
Yeah.
not there, so we can count on him. So just gotta wait.
I wanted to ask both of you guys. I noticed both of you guys left Aubameyang in there, so I'm assuming you guys were going
Oh
forward and he's
I'm
yeah,
going to be
praying.
there, right?
I'm praying. He's the most important player at the club
Okay.
right now. Like just
Yeah.
on a right now basis.
That. Yeah.
Like he's got to stay.
Of course. That was my thing. Like I know you two, absolutely 100% want him to be there. His name just keeps on popping up
Yeah.
on some transfer rumors. But, somebody with some money, I don't know. Think about if Dortmund still had him right now.
That'd be
oh,
they'd be
whew.
nuts. That would be nuts.
How crazy would it be?
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be
Actually,
pretty
fun
nuts.
fact for you: I just learned that Aubameyang originally came out of AC Milan's youth system.
Yep,
Interesting.
he was there.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
had no idea that he was there.
then he went to France.
Yeah.
That's right, man.
At French, y'all know he played with Hazard at Lille.
What?
What?
Played with Hazard at
I
Lille.
did not know
wow,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy,
I
man.
saw a picture of it the other day. I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
So, Mike, you were saying that you want to build the team around Aubameyang.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Who, in your opinion, are two other players that Arsenal have to hold on
Have to hold on to.
for the future?
Um,
Yeah, for the future.
for the future, one would be that one that my man Darrell said, Guendouzi. Got to keep Guendouzi at all costs.
Oh yeah.
He's got world class like potential all over him. I mean, literally seen the kid like control games in the Premier League.
Okay.
Him and I mean, I would have to say Martinelli. I guess, man. You gotta be able to hold on to that kid. Those two are two youngsters that you want to keep and build around.
Cool. And Daryl, what about you? Who are your three that you have to hold on to for the future to build around?
3 will be Guendouzi, Martinelli, and that Boyako Osaka. You have to keep that kid on your roster, simply because that kid is just pure speed, and he can play anywhere. Anywhere you put him, he'll play. I think
Okay.
he'll deliver. I think those are the 3 that you got to keep. At least your 3 youngsters that you got to keep. You got to build around.
Cool.
Definitely love the Martinelli. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'd be lying to you
Same
guys if
here.
I told you I've been watching a shitload of Arsenal this year because that's definitely not true. but the games that I have seen, he's been very impressive to me for sure.
Did y'all see that goal he had against Chelsea?
Oh, that goal.
Yes,
Hold
that
on,
was one
Yo.
though.
against
Hold on,
yes.
though. We can't give right. What happened there?
Man.
Let's go. Let's bring it back. How was that goal even possible? Y'all remember?
Oh yeah.
Conte
I
slip.
mean, it was a corner kick. They had a
Conte,
corner
bro.
kick. Oh yeah, Kante, he slipped up. He slipped up. He slipped.
Yeah, Conte slipped.
He slipped. Hey, these things happen, man. You know.
They do. They do. And I mean, I give it to him. He had the composure and the awareness to still run onto it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I'm gonna run onto it. He might miss. Conte misses, and then he's got the composure to take it down the field and finish the goal. So
Yeah, he still had to
give him
finish.
credit on that. But a little bit of luck, a little bit of luck, a little bit.
Hey man, 18, man. 18.
That's all you need.
18.
Heard that. Heard that. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this. We had a guest on from Brazil, and he was telling us about Martinelli. Basically, that he got on the map at like a U16 national tournament in Brazil on like a fourth division team.
Yep.
And one of the scouts there, I think, happened to be from Arsenal and saw him and was like, "We got to get this kid." And that's how they got him. I mean, he was just like, he was in a fourth. He came from fourth division in Brazil.
Yeah. Ituano.
Man. Yeah, there you go. How deep are your scouts when you're looking in the fourth division in Brazil, man? That's crazy. That's fucking wild.
Y'all familiar with Edu? Used to play for Arsenal?
Who?
Edu used to play for Arsenal back in the day.
Nah.
What? That's who facilitated that deal. That's who made it happen, basically.
Interesting.
He's part of the team. Like he's basically part of the team now. That's like part of the part of the transfers. They facilitate all that kind of stuff. He's part of the recruitment. That's who went and got David Luiz. I mean, he's Brazilian. You know what I mean? So it's he has that connection, I suppose.
Well, interesting stuff, amigos. That's a hell of a way to get this started. Y'all want to jump into the last couple games that Arsenal actually played through? The one good thing about this, folks, when we first recorded this episode, I gotta say, I think Mike can agree. Mike was on it. It was looking pretty bleak. From what I remember, they were scoring a lot of goals early in games and not holding leads. I believe they had just gotten Arteta. So he's had a couple of games now. These games look a lot better, with the exception of one of them that we're about to go over. But looked a lot better since the last time. I'm kind of glad we got to re-record this because it wasn't looking too good the last couple of times. Last games we talked about with them. This first one, which is the very last one before any of the stoppages. This one was EPL versus West Ham. This was back on March 7th. It was a 1-0 Arsenal win. They possessed the ball 69% of the game with 9 shots, 2 on goal to West Ham's 14 and 6 on goal. So obviously they locked down, played some disciplined defense on West Ham, obviously. Lacazette, the guy Mike's getting rid of, 78th minute. He had a winner. They ran that 4-2-3-1 that they've been doing with Arteta, I've noticed. What's your thoughts, guys? You want to take it away first, Mike?
I mean, hey, Laka came on, made it happen. Got us a goal. What can I say? I mean, West Ham, they got a lot of talent over there. That's for sure. But hey, we came to play that day and came out with a dub.
What would you take away from this as far as we're about to get on this? They were on a little streak, other than Europa that we'll get to. But it almost seemed like if you go back and look, and we just have the last 4 games they played, folks. If you go back and look, Arsenal was actually on a little win streak here for a second. I would say throughout the past 2-3 weeks before these stoppages. Did you kind of feel things were looking up, Mike?
I definitely felt things were looking up. The big difference immediately that I saw was defensively. Arteta came in and shored that up as much as possible. What we have right now as far as defensive talent, especially at the center back position, isn't necessarily elite. So he's kind of making do, and he had those guys playing well up until this break that we're in right now. So yeah, I think defensively that was the big thing that got improved. Because I mean, they've been scoring goals. That was never a problem. So.
Yeah. Looking at this data to kind of add on what you're saying, looking at the data to kind of add on what you're saying, Mike, back since January 1st up until their last game, they only had one loss in the last 13 games. That's crazy. One loss, 4 draws, the rest are wins. So what is that? 13 minus 5, 8 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss. That's pretty good turnaround.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look further back, there's a lot more L's and D's on that score sheet. So to add on what you're saying, Mike, it seems that he has kind of put a 180 on the club there.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think he's the guy. Like I'm not, he's the one for the club. I think he's going to take us where we need to be, get us back to the promised land. Being the Arsenal that we should be.
That's well said. I kind of worded that question a little oddly there too, so I apologize because you basically took it away from what I was trying to say though. Is basically, does this look different than when Emery was in charge? Obviously. So I hear little Darrell laughing back there. What you got, little Darrell?
I think they were doing great. I still wanted to see how they would finish the season, simply because it's an Arsenal thing. You start strong, you start being all flaky towards the middle, then you do bad after the new year, and then you do good towards the end so you can qualify to the Champions League. It's an Arsenal thing you've been seeing the past years, right? But but I do see something different. Just like Mike was saying, they started playing better defense. So I guess that Arteta is the guy simply because he was a player, he played there, he knows the system. He was under Guardiola's wing, so I guess he got the system, the perfect system for whatever Arsenal has played. I think that they showed they were a little bit more. I guess they were a little bit more hungrier. I guess they were just tired of losing. I will say on that. But yeah, I think they should try to keep that squad, and I think they will do a lot of great things.
And looking at the heat maps, Arsenal majority of their touches appear to be midfield and higher. So it almost kind of seems as if Arteta has brought that Guardiola counter pressing system to Arsenal. I didn't watch the game, but would you guys say that they're doing more of a counter press style of defense?
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
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 They just don't have the with him coming in mid-season, and just kind of picking up with who's on the roster. I just don't think the team was necessarily be able to, right now be able to get a full fitness, be able to execute how he wants to execute. But get those guys a full preseason next year. I think you'll see them doing that at an even higher level.
Yeah, they're doing great. Simply because you have to take into fact that Emery just lost the Europa League the year before. Comes this year, he gets sacked. You get Jumberg for what, a game or two. Then you got Arteta. You switch three systems in within one season, and I guess they're bouncing back. I think they're doing what it takes, I guess, in order to become elite.
Interesting. And to kind of dive a little bit deeper, I'm looking at their average player positions, looking at the who scored data, and their average player positions has morphed into a 2-4-4. Where they spend the majority of the time on the field. Really interesting to see that that's the type of ball that Arteta seems to be playing. This is just the West Ham game. When we go over the next 2 games or the next 3 games, we'll be able to kind of see if there's any similarity there as far as this counter pressing. And it seems to be that's the modern game now is counter pressing. We're seeing success at Liverpool with counter pressing. I mean, Pep has basically invented the counter press. I'm not going to give him full credit because you can go back to the Italians way back in the early '80s with Arrigo Sacchi, but Arteta, like you said, man, and this is crazy for the players because this is their third coach in the same season, and he's already been able to kind of instill this play system, which is not an easy play system. Counter pressing is very difficult to build, especially mid-season. So very, very interesting. I'm excited to kind of dig into the data on these next games coming up.
Saying that very next one we got, gentlemen, was actually it's worth mentioning, of course, because big win. It's the FA Cup. It was the fifth round. It was a 2-0 victory for Arsenal against Portsmouth. It's funny because Hugh and I were talking about this game earlier, and I just want to throw out there. I made the mistake of saying it was kind of like their B squad. The only reason I said that is because a lot of the big names weren't featured in that game. And that being said, there were a lot of big names that you guys mentioned, um, Mike as well as Lil Darrell, that were on that back line. You got Mari was in there, David Luiz, of course, Saka. You did get to see Chaka came in a little later in that game. Ceballos came in as well late. So that being said, also Pepe was not featured in this game. Lacazette was not featured in this game. So I take it back saying it was a B squad game. It still wasn't. A lot of the big names were out of this one. Still a great win. It also put them into the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. And hey, in an up and down season, I'm sure you gentlemen will take some hardware where you can get it. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know, the FA Cup is Arsenal's
Absolutely.
competition anyway. You know, as
Yeah,
I,
it is.
our
I was
trophy.
gonna say, yeah, yep. One of my favorite Arsenal games of all time is an FA Cup game. So yes, yeah, definitely.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, do it.
Hull City game.
No, the Manchester United one that was
Oh
boring as
shit.
shit all the way
Okay.
until the
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that one as a kid. We'll, we'll get back to that, but on this one, 73% possession for Arsenal, so obviously they're holding that possession. 15 shots, 4 on goal. Portsmouth 11, 1 on goal. Arsenal again with the 4-2-3-1 that we're talking about. Gentlemen, what'd you guys think about this one? Mike, go ahead.
You know, great game from the Arsenal. FA Cup, man. I was never really worried about. It was the game where we first really got to see Mari. It was like his full senior debut. Played really well, I thought. Had an experienced player back then with him and Luis, kind of eased him into it. They held things together, held it down. Had a goal from Nketiah, who Arsenal got back on from loan from who was at Leeds to start the year. He just scores goals as well. Nice young forward we have on the roster. Team played well. Like I said just now, FA Cup, that's Arsenal's trophy. So, you know, I'm always expecting dubs when they're playing in FA Cup. So
That's awesome.
What you got, little Daryl?
it was a good game. For me, I wasn't even expecting them to win. I just wanted to see what Mari had inside. You know, I just wanted to see what it was made of. I think that was the game that really convinced me that he should be the central midfielder. I mean, central defender on the team. But it was a good win simply because it wasn't the big names weren't there, and they still managed to get the W, which that's something that Arsenal lacks of sometimes. When their big names are not playing, it's hard for them to deliver the results, but they did. So I guess that's a good sign.
And looking again, I love looking at heat maps and average player positions. Same kind of idea. They the two center backs playing average positions between the bottom of the circle, top of their own box, with their center defensive mid kind of completing that triangle and then allowing freedom of all the other attacking players and the outside backs to kind of. It almost appears to be like a 2-5-3 almost, where Martinelli almost kind of makes it a 2-6-2 as far as average positions. But again, looking at the heat map, majority of the touches midfield and beyond, and it looks as if Portsmouth were very unorganized. And Arsenal, complete opposite, very organized in their positions and spacing between each other and just managing the game. Especially, I mean, looking at the possession. So that's really telling. Just to continue to add on, it appears as if Arteta has kind of instilled a really good foundation for the future. I got one more question for y'all. I'm looking at the lineup, Two things. Socrates, right back. That I'm really confused there. I'm not sure what's going on. Was that a good move? Was that a good position for him as a right back?
Um, I think. Oh,
Socrates, Socrates.
Oh,
It's so weird to see him
nah.
on the right back. I'm not. I
well,
mean, he was the
Yeah.
best player on the team besides the goal scorer.
he was playing centrally a lot. He was playing centrally a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
what how that was really working was you had him playing the right back, but you had Saka on the left, and Saka was pushing so far up that it was
Ah,
almost like you just have Louise. They almost like you move into a back three. You know what I mean? And then,
right.
and then you
That
got
makes sense. That makes
Mm.
total sense.
Louise, and Socrates, while Saka's pushing up on the left hand side, getting involved with the attack.
Interesting. Okay, and then my next question. The number 10. It looks like there's a new number 10 that Arteta put in. What's his name? Wilcock
Oh, Willick,
or
Joe
Willock.
Willick.
Willock. Yeah,
Warlock.
Willock.
He's another really good one for the future. I like Joe a lot personally.
Oh yeah, he never stops running either. But I don't know. I think it's more like an 8.
Yeah, he's a box to box.
But yeah, yeah, he's a box to box. I guess he just put him there since he wanted to give him more playing time because I think that's what Socrates were playing on the right side too. Even though just like Mike said, Zaka will go all the way up, so in order to cover that gap, but it's just I guess he just did those weird modifications for playing time their players so it can keep the momentum going.
Okay, interesting. I was just curious because, like Mike Booty was saying, lots of new names. It almost appeared as if it was a B squad, but it's FA Cup. You're against Portsmouth. Put your trust in these newer, younger players that don't have a lot of minutes, and let them thrive, or struggle under pressure. I'm looking at the substitutions. Within 15 minutes, Danny Ceballos came on for Lucas Torreira. Was that an injury, or did
Yeah,
Arteta see something that wasn't rocking?
he got hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he
All
got
right,
hurt. Yeah.
so that makes sense. Did he? I'm wondering if he came on and made a big difference for the team. I mean, 15 minutes in, that's a completely different system change, especially with a player in the midfield. Was that? Did you notice a system change when he came on as opposed to when Torreira was there?
I saw more like he did that just to control the
Okay.
game. Because when you're winning 2-0, that's one of the biggest, what would say, leads that you. Oh, I think that's the worst lead you could have. Because they score one goal, you better hope they'll score the second. So I guess he just put him in order to have more control of the ball. Because Ceballos is good at that.
That sub was well before those goals were scored.
Was it?
That Yeah, the Ceballos came in within the 16th minute, and then the two goals were 45 and 51. So I'm wondering if Ceballos coming onto the field kind of shook up the system and enabled them to maybe play differently. Maybe Willock was able to play more of an 8, and then Ceballos now is a 10. Kind of like
Then
I'm
yeah.
just I didn't watch it. I'm just wondering. I'm asking questions. I don't know. Very intrigued because that's a 15-minute sub. That that's a really really early sub that you only see if the coach is like, okay, this player is trash. I need to get him in there, but he was injured. So I mean, what a sub to have, right? As an injury sub, Ceballos. Shit.
It's about just a totally different profile of player. You know what I mean?
And
Than
Torreira, yeah.
Torreira, like just totally different profile. So yeah, he may have made the difference. I like him over Torreira in the midfield every day. Personally, I really hope that they find a way to either extend Ceballos' loan or make the deal permanent. Honestly, I'd really like him to stay.
So Ceballos was actually rumored to go to AC Milan in the summer on
Yeah,
loan, and I don't know, something happened to where Arsenal picked him up. And from what I remember, Ceballos, his his um his personal preference was to go on loan somewhere just so that he could play, and then eventually return back to Real Madrid. Did he lead you on to believe as a fan that he's bleeding red and white? he's playing for the badge rather than himself. Has he kind of led you on one way or the other?
He seems to be getting on well
Okay.
at in London. That's from my vantage point. That seems to be the case. We got a couple Spanish players in the squad. They seem to get on well. I don't know. I think he likes it. I think he likes it. Plus, it's. I think he sees a more definitive role here. You go back to Madrid. I mean, he's not walking into that midfield. He's going
Heard
straight
that.
back to the bench.
Yep.
At Arsenal, you at least have a chance to, really be in the starting 11 week in and week out and play meaningful games. Maybe we may not get in the Champions League, but at least you'll be able to play, like really play and for a big team, big club. So I don't know. I think it might be intriguing for him to stay.
I agree, and I think the addition of Arteta is probably definitely weighing the option.
Spanish
This is
guy,
a
yeah.
Spanish coach. I want to come. I want to stay. I like what Arteta's doing here. So we could very well see that loan being cashed in on.
It'd be nice. I'm hoping. I'm definitely hoping.
Yeah, so it's tough because I understand he's trying to look out for himself. At the same time, it's like, look what's right in front of you. That's a team that they put their faith in you to bring you here.
Right.
Gotta reward
For
the
sure.
faith,
Right.
man. Same.
And I tell you, I will say it was Emery that really got him to the club. So I will give him his credit.
That's right.
Emery definitely is the one that did the recruitment on that one. I believe he handled that one himself.
To be fair, I don't want to give Emery too much credit because at the time when he was picked up by Arsenal, he was all over the radars. I believe it was the U20 World Cup at the time, this past summer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was he was killing it for Spain. I'll give Emery credit for like going after him and hounding him, but I'm not a big fan of Emery, and I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not going to give him 100% of the credit for finding this 20-year-old, Spanish stud out of the blue, like a diamond in the rough. He was all over the place to begin with. I think I'm going to say he got a little bit lucky, but I got to give him credit for pursuing Ceballos and actually getting him on the team.
Yeah,
Just to kind of add a little bit there.
I got you.
I think it was a good signing to bring him on. I think he's not. I think he didn't love Arsenal as much, but I believe that he's gonna end up liking it. It's like Ozil. Ozil just went there just because he'd have an option, and now he just loves it to be there. And I don't think anybody will want him either. But I think he's gonna learn how to love Arsenal.
There you go.
Those W's feel good when you taking control of yourself and making them happen. So maybe he'll stay. Well, with that being said, gentlemen, that was beautiful coverage of that one. It's time to move on. Fortunately, we got to get through some sorrow real quick. We gotta cry the pain away real quick. This next one we gotta speak on, heartbreaker. I was even feeling it for you guys. I thought about you guys on this one. A 2-1 loss to Olympiacos in the Europa stages. This is the knockout stages. So Arsenal is officially out on away goals on aggregate. Looked like a hell of a finish, though. And I did see some highlights of this one. It was 61 to 39% Arsenal, so you got to give them the credit for that one. They were holding the possession all day. Arsenal with 19 shots, 4 on goal. Olympiacos with 12 and 4 on goal. The goals, the first one didn't come until the second half, in the 53rd minute, by Olympiacos. And to keep in mind, folks, at this point in time, the leg before this, leg 1, Arsenal had a 1-0 advantage. So at this point, it's 1-1, and it's also tied in away goals. Then our boy Aubameyang has a 113th minute goal to put them up, to put them in the next round. And then Olympiacos squeaks out a 119th minute goal to win it and to send Arsenal packing, unfortunately. Arsenal again, though, with the 4-2-3-1. Guys, I'm assuming you definitely watched a little bit of this one. Lil Darrell, you want to take it away first?
Oh yeah. Well, I saw it until it was the 90th minute. Then I left because I had to do something, so I couldn't see what happens towards the end, which I was mad. I saw the highlight, and man, I think that just wasn't their day. Because Aubameyang would never miss that goal. and another time he would never miss. That day he missed, they couldn't win, man. I mean, I have to give it to them. They tried whatever they could. I guess their past ghosts that have been haunting them about defending got them a little bit, but they're building. They're trying their best. Just I guess luck wasn't on their side that day.
Well said. What you got, Mike?
Terrible day. I think that I think he got the lineup wrong on the day. Started Lacazette up front. Should have been Aubameyang up front. It was I don't know. It was bad. It was bad. But I mean, defending got us. I tell you, at the end of the game, Olympiacos was throwing people forward as if they were Atalanta, and the way they were throwing people forward and getting people up there. And they got a goal. They won it. Aubameyang missed a sitter. But I will say, just to keep it a buck with you, where everybody here, Aubameyang has missed a lot of sitters for Arsenal since he's been at the club. He's missed a ton of sitters, but he's scored a lot of goals too. But he's missed a lot as well. I can't even, I love the guy, but it was almost like I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised. It was weird. It was weird, but yeah, terrible feeling to say the least.
Yeah, those are the stats that don't show up on the stat card. The missed shots.
Man,
You never see those when you're leading Premier League in goals.
And they should, man. They should have those sitters that you miss. I always tell my goalkeepers, like, when you make a mistake, it goes on the scoreboard. That's a rough job for a striker. If you miss it, you forget about it. Never put on the scoreboard.
Yeah. On to the next one.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Fernando Torres.
Yeah, and looking at again the average player positions in the heat map, they were organized, and this is just one of those any given Sunday kind of soccer games where not the team that was necessarily dominating possession and being organized and having more opportunities just didn't happen to win that day. And it's some days you just can't buy a goal. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, gents, now that we got that out the way, I was gonna cue up the music for you guys. You had a bad day. You know what? We're gonna look past that because there's positives here. We got another win to talk about. It's the 3-2 Arsenal victory versus Everton. This is back on February 23rd. Believe that was that was very close to Mardi Gras. That was going ways back. Oh God, almost seems like just a lifetime ago. Man, this was pre-Corona. This was a 51%. This is an interesting one. I really dug into this one a little bit. Just the scoreline alone tells you it was an interesting enough game. But 51% possession of Arsenal. Arsenal had 9 shots, 4 on goal. Everton 17 shots, 5 on goal. So it looks like the defense did their job when they absolutely needed to that day for Arsenal. The goals were all over the place. Looks like Arsenal got most of theirs done. Oh, well, no, it looked like Everton actually jumped out first in the first minute on this one. And then Arsenal ties it in the 27th minute. Aubameyang follows that up almost 6 minutes later, it looks like. And then Everton ties it up right before the half for Arsenal to take the lead again right before the half ends, or right before the second half begins, excuse me. So super, super interesting game. Very fun. Sounds like a fun one to rewatch now that we have all this time on our hands. Again, point this one out. Arsenal with the 4-2-3-1 yet again. What'd you guys think of this one, Gooners? Mike, you want to go first?
Yeah, it was a stressful game because we definitely needed a dub. I think that win put us within like 5 points of fourth place or something like that. So it was a game going into where it's like a win was the only option, or it was just gonna be all hope was lost type deal. So the first minute, they give up a corner, no, a free kick. And in the first minute, and Calvert-Lewin gets a damn bicycle kick off a little header volley, and that was all she wrote. And but they bounced back from it, and came back, scored some goals, and got the win. like you said, defense kind of did the bend not break type deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just got kind of survive. So they did got a much needed dub.
Little Darrell, your thoughts?
I did not see the game, but I do have to have to look into it that even though they were losing early in the game, they managed to come back and win because I haven't seen Arsenal do that in a long time. So I'm glad they did that. I'm glad the they had less shots and they still scored because sometimes what will you see with Arsenal they have like 5,000 shots and only one goal, but this time was the other way around, which you can see they're being more effective the way they attack.
Yeah, it's not necessarily how many shots you have, but how many you're able to convert for the ones you have.
Hmm.
And I mean, Everton having 17 shots and only scoring 2 goals, it's a very low
Yeah,
efficiency rate
that's
as opposed to Arsenal having 9 shots and scoring 3. So, I mean, that's going back from the last game where against Olympiacos, they weren't converting. They were struggling to get that one more goal, and they didn't even get it until in extra time. They went 90 minutes without even scoring a goal. So to see them get 3 goals, within the first 46, 50 minutes, that's impressive, especially the last one being the one to win the game, and then having the defense hold on and seal the victory off. So it's high hopes here for Arsenal.
I'm letting our footy soldiers know. There's a game you need to go back and rewatch. When you're done watching the British Baking Show and Extreme Home Makeover, when you're so sick of that, you're so coroned out, I think this is one you need to check out. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna go back and watch this one. I will let y'all know what I think about it. Um, it has fun written all over it for me. That's my type of game right there. It looks amazing. So I'm definitely gonna go back and watch it. I'll give you guys my breakdown. I'll have a book report for you guys ready. Y'all let me know how many words it's got to be. We'll put that in MLA format, and Ocho and I will. I'm gonna make Ocho do it too, and we'll have that to you.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Well, that being said, at the same time, as of right now, as the standings are right now in the Premier League, we're looking at Arsenal down there in ninth. They're only 5 points out of Champions League spot. Um, so I know you guys want the season to continue.
of course.
Right? I say you just give Liverpool the trophy and then let the other guys just battle it out for Champions League spots or something crazy, right? Um, but yeah, I mean they're right there, even with the really horrible first half of the season. They're coming around. I honestly would love to see what they're going to do, what they would do with a couple more games in their pocket to play. So at this point, guys, though they are out of Europa. Um, where do you see them going? How long do you think it'll take them to get back to Champions League? Let's pretend like the league was still going on as of now, and let's also we'll have an answer for that, and we'll have an answer for as it is right now. Your thoughts, Little Darrell? You want to go first?
Yeah, I think for them to go back into Champions League, I think that will be next season if they can stay healthy, of course. Because Arsenal they have a long history of having a lot of players being injured, but if they can stay healthy, I think they could definitely, for sure, I think they can definitely make it into the Champions League because I don't think Leicester will be able to keep up. And Tottenham, I just hope they just keep on doing bad. you know. I've seen they improve when it comes to playing with against Chelsea. They improve. It's not a guaranteed loss anymore. So I think they could fight those from on the first four. Of course, they're definitely not going to beat Liverpool. It's just you just can't beat that guy. At least at Anfield, you're just not going to make it. City, then it's a give or take. But I know for a fact they could at least fight for third and fourth next year if everybody remains healthy.
What you got, Mike?
Yeah, I tell you, if they're able to continue the season and get some games with City's potential European ban, if Arsenal could play these last games out and pull off fifth, um, they could potentially find their way into Champions League. Um, if that ruling against City is upheld. Uh, Other than that, I mean, I agree with Darrell. It's going to be next year. I think you get a full preseason of Arteta's philosophy and what he wants to do, and get some of his transfers in, get my boy Makano into the fold, and yeah, man, we'll be rocking out. We'll be rocking out. I think I'll tell you, man. Like, I think Arsenal is talented enough to not necessarily challenge for the league, but maybe be second. Maybe be second. Like, I think even this year, even this year's team, I think could have did it. I mean, really,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just it just didn't start out well, But it, it's just one of them teams, man. They got talent. The talent is on the team. It's just a matter of putting it together to make it happen. So
I don't know how Ocho feels about this one, but I'd have to say, we've run through episodes where we key in on certain teams like this one. We did a Manchester United one as well. I really feel like Arsenal and Man U, they are in the best situations, the best positions right now with the young guys that they have that are fighting for that badge on the crest.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they're in the best positions to make it to Champions League next year if we were to keep playing. Um, just the way that they've both looked lately, and the guys that have all of a sudden really stepped up for them. I would like to see a full year of Arteta as well, just see where it goes. Be fun.
Yeah, and I'm looking.
He's good. Chelsea's at Chelsea, so go ahead,
This,
Ocho.
I mean, this recent EPL, this English Premier League has gotten so competitive. I mean, now you have Leicester. We all. I mean, I forget about Leicester. They're easily a top four team now. I mean, they're in third place, and then you can't forget about the latest team, Wolverhampton, the Wolves. I mean,
Oh
they're
yeah.
fucking badass, man. This
Wolves
is
got a squad. Wolves got a squad.
they make me nervous. Just if I was a Liverpool, a Man City, a Chelsea, a Man U, an Arsenal fan, I'm nervous going up against Wolves because that coach. I mean, he has just instilled this like no, not to make a pun, but like wolf like mentality. He's kind of made them wolves. Not to be cliche, but I think Arteta is such a good coach, and he was underneath Pep Guardiola for so long that if you give him one transfer window, you give him one off season, I think he puts you in the top four without a doubt. Just because he's able to take a step back, especially with this last season, only getting about half the season. He can take a step back, look at the positives, look at the negatives, find the players he needs, and then run with the wind at his back. I tell you what, if I were to compare Arsenal Man U, I think Arsenal have got a much better chance at finishing in top four than Man U, just because Arteta. If we look at Arteta compared to Ole Gunnar, both of them played for their clubs. I just feel like Arteta has got much more of a modern soccer tactical mind than Ole Gunnar. We haven't really seen anything special from Ole Gunnar. So, with that being said, I think it's Leicester, Chelsea, Wolverhampton, Arsenal. Those are the four teams, in my opinion, that are going to fight for that top three, top four spot. I think Tottenham have a long way to go, just with their injuries, and then they go from Pochettino to Jose Mourinho, two completely different
Man.
styles. Two completely different styles. That's going to take them a long time. Not to mention, you got to get past the ego of Mourinho, whereas Arteta is a very humble human being, and I think he's instilling that into the club. So, with that being said, I'll put him in. I'll put him in top four after a off-season and transfer window. So, maybe this next year they finish top four.
Let me say something about Wolves and Leicester. I'd say, like, obviously this year, if we continue this year, they're a threat. But going forward, those are two teams where you gotta look at, like, they're gonna get rated. You know what I mean? Like, James Madison on Leicester. You got Yuri Tillemans on Leicester. I mean, those guys aren't going to stay on Leicester. Those guys at Wolverhampton, Rui Jimenez and Diego Yota. I mean,
Adama
you know what I
Traore.
mean? Traore, like, come on, like
Yeah.
it's like a perfect storm type deal. Like that happens with teams sometimes, but I can't see that. I can't see them staying, intact as a squad after this season.
Do you see that being um, the identity of Leicester and Wolves? Do you see them being kind of like, for lack of a better term, like a farm team in the EPL where, you know, if they get hot, they sell all their players. Otherwise, they're not really interested in Champions League.
I think Leicester has a little more of a better chance of continuity than Wolves at this point. Personally, I mean, we've seen Leicester win the league. Ultimately, yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, they're going to just be one of those teams where they'll get a diamond in the rough here and there. He'll be a great player, and then they'll get an offer where they can't refuse it. So it happens. It's football. It's part of the business.
Little Darrell, you got something to say?
Yeah, it was that what Mike was about to say. I think Leicester. The reason why I said Leicester and Wolves won't be able to, I guess, compete is just because most of their good players they're gonna leave. Simply because it's just that's just soccer is, man. You have this bum ass player. Somebody comes and gives you an offer, you just can't refuse. And you're not a team that that has that big of marketing like Man U, Real Madrid, Barcelona. So they're gonna leave for sure. And then you have a gap, and then you have like a year where you're gonna do bad, then you're gonna come back up because you built your squad with the money that you get. Like it's just you see that with Southampton. You saw that throughout the years. They always get a bunch of players, and then next year they'll most of them leave, and then they have like a gap. They come back, and that's how they've been doing. Another thing for Arsenal, the reason why I think they might be top four next year is because something changed when Wenger left. Is that they start paying the money they should be spending on players. Like now, you see, though they did the effort to bring Lacazette. They made the effort to bring Aubameyang. They made the effort to bring Ozo. So they've been bringing these players slowly, but now they're making the effort. Back then, they were spending maybe 1 million on a 22-year-old. That was not even guaranteed is going to be a good player. But now they're really spending their money on investing their money on big names or at least big potential talents.
As well said, they're definitely spending money to get titles.
Hmm.
We know Arsenal's got some money to spend, so hey, maybe they just buy that whole back line at Leicester City.
That's a good point. Because I tell you, there's nobody who thought that Arsenal was going to get Nicola Pepe.
Right?
Nobody. I had
Oh yeah,
no one thought that was.
I didn't.
I thought he was going to end up in Liverpool.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And real quick, guys, since we kind of already touched on this a little bit, but what do you guys think was the biggest problem since I would say since Arsene Wenger left? Because obviously it carried over to Emery. Arteta kind of seems to have a feel for what's going on, and he kind of feels it kind of seems like he's guiding him in the right direction. But what did you guys find to be the biggest problem since Wenger left?
Discipline.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it was the players. I think it was mostly because of the discipline. And Emery, I guess I think he has some issues with some players too. I know when you don't get along with your players, they will kick you out one way or another. But I guess Wenger was because he was too old. He never wanted to, I guess, get up to date. And with Emery, it was just because I guess it was just like personal problems with players. With I guess with Arteta, the sense I get he played with some of them. I think he understands more since he retired not too long ago. So I think that helped on the team. It's just fresh air, new system. Well, a similar system they've been playing, but it's just a little bit more modern to nowadays, something that they could compete.
nice. Yeah, and I can agree with that too because I used to feel like I never like to say this very often about people, but I kind of felt like the game kind of passed Wenger by. It still seemed like he was about 10 years back with a lot of things. And again, I don't like to say that about anybody, but it sure seemed like I was watching old Arsenal teams, but not the old Arsenal players.
Yeah,
A lot of times
exactly.
when I would see them
There you
play.
go.
So I do like the discipline aspect of it too, which that boils down to having a good defense, being disciplined in the back, just like y'all been talking about all day on this episode. So um, obviously their defense had been a big problem. Mike, what you got?
Yeah, no, just to piggyback off of Daryl, yeah, discipline was a big issue, and then with Emery, it was On top of not getting along with the players or some of the big name players, he just had no identity. I mean, we had no clear cut system. We had no it wasn't okay. This is what Arsenal's doing out there. They're doing this, this, and this. This is what they're trying to accomplish. It seemed like a different formation each game. He called it playing to the whatever the opponent is doing.
It's the worst.
I personally prefer, I personally prefer you want to dictate to
Oh
the
yeah.
opponent what you're gonna do, but that's how he played it. But yeah, and also Embry has a track record of not getting on with big players in the club. I mean, it happened to him at PSG. The players got his ass up out of there, and you know when he came to Arsenal, he thought that he was gonna outlast Mesut Ozil, and that wasn't gonna that didn't happen either. So yeah, I mean,
That's spot on, man. That's
you know
fucking
that
spot on.
that's just seems to be how he does it. He's more built for a club that he came from before he went to PSG, a size like a Sevilla, Valencia, where he was managing before, where maybe he's bigger than the players. You know what I mean? But these big clubs, you're never gonna be bigger than the players, buddy. So
That's really well said because you're spot on. When you look at professional coaching, you you don't really need to be a very tactically gifted mind. You don't have to have a tactically gifted mind. You have to be able to manage the player egos first and foremost. We saw it at Real Madrid. You had Rafa Benitez way back in like
Oh.
2014. The players took over the team and they're like, "Get this dude out of here." They bring in Zidane. You're not gonna be able to challenge Zidane on any level. Zidane comes in, completely gains the respect of all the players, but then also humbles himself and is able to bring all these giant egos together. And we're seeing it with Arteta. Arteta is same kind of thing. These we Booty and I did an episode on player coaches. We're seeing this new trend of player coaches coming back to the club that they played at and immediately gaining the respect of everyone, all the players. Okay, this is a guy that's played here. He's a legend at the club. And then it allows him to get past that first initial wall of, all right, do we respect this coach? Right away. That's done. It's easy. You can get down to tactics very quickly. And then as long as that coach doesn't have a huge ego, you're going to be on a really good first page with all the players. And then you can work on which players play well with each other. Mike, I think you're spot on with what you said there. With why Emery failed. I mean, you couldn't have said it any more perfectly. He is better for those Valencia and Lille type of teams where the egos of players they haven't gotten to the world class egos that we see nowadays. And to kind of continue this question for me, um, just again piggybacking to steal your words, Mike. It was the coach. That was one of the biggest problems. Looking forward, and I think we've hit on this many times. A big positive for me for Arsenal right now is they've got the players. They've got the players to compete. That's not a problem. That's not an issue. Some teams, for me, I feel like Man U don't necessarily have the players. If we go player to player, Arsenal, Man U, Arsenal beats Man U every day.
absolutely,
Not even close, man. Not even close.
absolutely.
So looking at that, I think the negative that we're talking about with Emery, that's gone. You got Arteta. That's the positive that you needed to replace with the negative. Now it's just time. It's a matter of time before they're back in top flight where they have been since the beginning.
Yeah, nah, absolutely agree.
That's beautiful said. Well,
True.
man, you had Wenger like we talked about. That respect was built in
Yeah.
years ago.
Oh yeah,
But a lot of the new guys don't understand. You got to come in and you got to build the respect first, and then you coach. It's a hard balance, I think. Um, but hey, that's why Emery poofed himself on out. So later on, poof. But no, that was beautifully said, guys.
So Booty, what are your negatives and positives?
Well, my negatives, obviously, it's my biggest one. Looking back to immediately after Wenger left, and we're talking Emery, obviously. the lack of consistency. You look at too many times where a lot of these games that they had, they took the lead early. They just didn't hold it. We even said it ourselves a few minutes ago when we're looking at these standings. We almost said it in a kind of roundabout way. Think about how many more wins they would have with all the leads that they've given up this year. They could be at that number 5 right now easily, higher than that, be 3 or 4 even. There were just too many times, I would say, before Christmas when Emery was there, halfway point through the year, they would just jump on people early and not hold the leads. And I kept seeing that time and time again through a lot of the games I looked at with Arsenal. Since then, since we've talked about obviously Arteta coming in with a pep mentality, it's been better. It's been better in the back. They're still scoring the goals that they're scoring, but you're starting to see a little the discipline that was missing, which would be another negative for me. And Darrell already mentioned it. Little Darrell already mentioned it. It the discipline in the back. You have to have that. Obviously, everybody here we've all played, soccer, not professionally. We were pretty close, but we didn't get there. But all of us know that back line, it's got to be disciplined, or else you're not going to get anywhere. It's great to stop 16 shots, but if the 17th one goes in at the 90th minute, that's the one that goes on the scoreboard. So I can't imagine how many more wins they would have if had been a little bit more disciplined and they had held some of them leads that we just talked about. But positive side being, I'm gonna steal Hughes positive as well. I think you got the guy. You got the guy that you need to really gain. The players already respect this guy. Coming from a Pep background as well, all those guys the minute they came in there were very interested in that. Obviously, the playing style, and it looks like that's obviously happening. They're taking shape to it. They're really working out well with it. It's a shame that we can't see more games. I want to see more games of this team. And hey, you got the leading goal scorer for 2 years in a row in one of the hardest leagues in the world. People forget because everybody was so sucked in on Liverpool last year with Mane and Salah, but Aubameyang actually tied for
Indeed.
the most goals.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
For number one.
Him and
Yeah.
Salah.
Tie. 3 African players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have the number one goal scorer, in my opinion, in all the leagues in the world, really. No offense to Serie A that I love. But if we're talking about scoring goals, I think EPL. And you have the guy there. So I really see the better things coming from Arteta. It's a shame that the league's still not going on. And honestly, anybody who's been around Pep, I certainly love. I can't stand Man City, but I love Pep.
He gets the sign of approval. You get the thumbs up.
Absolutely. He gets the booty thumb.
You got the wrong visual there.
Oh, yeah, there it is. But yeah, and like I said earlier, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you I've watched so many Arsenal games. It's just that was, you look at the heat maps like Hugh was saying. You look at all these different stats that you'd be seeing. It would be the same story for that first half of the year. Oh, cool! They had a 10-minute goal to start the match, and then somewhere around like the 70th, 80th minute, the other team scored 2, and you're like, what? What happened? Possessed well. For the most part. But I think that's a good hire. There's good things coming. And I have to agree, even though I said, I think them and Man U are in the best spots to succeed right now, I would give Arsenal a little slight edge there. Definitely. If we're going player to player, like you just said.
Yep.
You got the number one scorer in the best league in the world for 2 years straight.
Agreed.
It's all about scoring goals, at the end of the day.
Agreed.
So, beautiful. This is that little bit of time, guys. I don't know if you have your fish and chips ready. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane. We're going to just bang out a couple of our favorite Arsenal games, favorite Arsenal players. It's something we do with all episodes that we do that are solely about one team. There's team-based. And this particular one, guys, it's all about you guys. We love you and we thank you for coming on. We want you guys to tell us your top three favorite Arsenal games of all time. Mike, why don't you start us off?
Top three Arsenal games.
And you can go three, two, one as well. So start with your third.
I don't. You know what? I'm not even gonna give you like. It's not even gonna be like an order.
All right.
It's just gonna be like, and it's gonna be recent games here. Definitely a 2014 FA Cup final against Hull City. Had to make the comeback. That one was nice. Um, FA Cup final against Chelsea when they won the league. We beat them, so to prevent them from doing the double. And no one thought that Arsenal was going to win that game. And the last one, which ultimately the season did not go my way, but I thought we were going to win the league when this happened. When we were playing Leicester at the Emirates, it's like the 90th minute. And we're in stoppage time. Mesut Ozil has a free kick, and Danny Welbeck had just come on. This is his first game back. He's been out with a long-term injury, and he got the flick-on header to win the game against Leicester, and we went above them on the table. And all we had to do was win out. This is the year that Leicester won the league, and yeah, I thought we were gonna win the fucking league, y'all. Like Danny fucking Welbeck came on and won the game, man. And I mean, the state. I remember being in the house. I think that it was Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day. I remember that. I want to say,
You had your Netflix and chill ready.
wait, not Valentine's Day. But it was just it was around that time. Anyway, I was going nuts. That's it, man. That was those are the three. I'm gonna go with those three.
That's beautiful. Little Darrell, what you got?
Oh well, number three, I gotta go when Arshavin scored 4 goals on Liverpool.
Whoa.
That I remember that game. I couldn't even believe what the hell was going on, and I had my doubts in Arshavin, but that day I was like, this kid, he's just doing whatever he feels like doing on the field. That was my number three. Number two, when Arsenal beat Reading 7-5 or 7-4 on that game. I, it was just crazy. That's the game where they were losing 4-0. And I was like, eyes over. I don't even know why I'm watching the game. Next thing you know, they start scoring and scoring, and then the other team scored. It just kept on going until overtime, and it was nice, especially that goal that what was his name?
Yeah,
Malone Shamak,
Shamak.
I think it was. He scored the last goal. I was like, yo, the suckiest player, he comes and steals the game. I'm like, that's crazy. And then I got to give it to Arsenal Real Madrid when Henry scored that wonderful goal in 2006. I think it was I think they made it to the final. It was 2006. That's when they lost to Barcelona. I was sour about that final, but that game against Arsenal against Real Madrid, I really loved that game, man. It was real good, especially Henry. He did what he had to do.
Hell yeah, guys! It's bringing back the nostalgia. It's making me feel so
Yeah.
fucking old. Uh, Ocho, what you got?
So around this time, 2009 to 2013 was the Robin van Persie era at Arsenal.
Man, fucking guy.
Maybe not 2009, but late 2010, early 2010s. I remember when he went ham against Chelsea. It was like 5-3. I think he bagged a hat trick. I mean, he was balling. Like those days when Robin van Persie was there and Cesc Fabregas were there. Those are like when you ask me favorite Arsenal games. I think about those London derbies, Arsenal Chelsea, and how they were on top. So that 5-3 win, Robin van Persie had a hat trick. Gervinho, completely forgot he was there. I had to go look this up. And then as well as Arteta. Arteta was on the squad, and he was balling. So that was a really cool one. That was one of my memories of Arsenal. And then also in 2011, when this was Cesk's last year, Cesc Fabregas' last year, they beat Barcelona 2-1, and Robin van Persie had this crazy goal. It was like this wild, tight angle. Someone fed him a ball. I want to say it was Cesc. Cesc fed him a ball off to the left, like takes it down and just rips it near post. And you're just like, you're kind of frozen. You're like, holy fuck, how did he score that goal? And then also, that's for me when I got introduced to Arshavin. Um, he had a fucking banger of a goal to win the game 2-1. So those are my Arsenal. I only had two. Those are like the two that stick out for me. It was Arsenal Chelsea when they were on top, and then Arsenal Barcelona with Cesc Fabregas kind of making that transition from Arsenal to Barcelona. He got in one last game for Arsenal, beating Barcelona. I thought that was really cool. Those are my two.
Nice.
Man, Van Persie and I have to say Van Persie and I would say Fabregas are like two of the immediately when you say those names. I think
Yeah,
Arsenal.
definitely, definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
just from our time period that we were in, and I just remember watching those guys just ball out of control, just ridiculous. Man, y'all all this is one of the few episodes everybody had was like all over the place on their games. A lot of times we'll just be like, "Oh yeah, I had that one too. I had that one too." Yeah, yeah, that's great. I love it, guys. That's freaking awesome. Shoot, my my one of my games that I remember, it's on my list is you know, it's unfortunately a loss, but it was the loss to Barcelona in that Champions League final. And the thing I remember as a kid, that was one of the first years I had watched Champions League. Other than I think I watched it the year before with Liverpool and AC Milan. That finish obviously. Um, some of my like first fond memories of Champions League was this game, and there's another one I'm going to mention. They involved Arsenal. Thierry Henry just shredding people to death. Just I remember the important thing about this one, and the thing that was impressive was leading up to Arsenal getting to this final. I don't know if y'all remember, but they shut everybody out. It's funny we harked on the back line so much. Round of 16, they shut somebody out. I want to say then I think it was like Villarreal or somebody like that. Then they played Juventus and like shut them out. And then maybe Madrid. I'm not exactly sure on that one.
I think it was first Madrid.
Yeah, so it's the other way around. Okay,
It was, yeah.
but I just remember like them getting there was super impressive. And then the one I mentioned earlier, the 0-0 draw in the FA Cup, beating Man U in May of 2005 in penalties. I just remember watching the penalties as a kid, just about to shit myself, and not having any affiliation with either team, just really just sucked into that game. And of course, the whole time thinking, man, this has been the most boring game ever with the most exciting finish we're gonna see. That was you guys got your FA Cup, the Arsenal Cup. That's what FA stands for, right?
Yeah.
Football Arsenal Cup.
Absolutely.
So, and then the number one game for me, I remember this has to be the very first game I remember watching a Champions League. It was a group stage game. Uh, Me still as a teenager wondering what the hell Champions League was. It's a group stage where they beat Inter Milan. And I was rooting for Inter Milan because I like the all Italian teams. And they had lost to them earlier in the year, I believe, like 2 or 3 to nothing. And they had to win this game to advance to the round of 16. This is the end of the group stage. And they end up beating Inter 5-1. And I mean, who else? Thierry Henry.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yep. And that game there made me start thinking as a teenager about Thierry Henry and just kind of watching him. And then I would say that first one I mentioned really put him on the map for me because I watched that loss, even though it was a loss to Barcelona. A month later, we're watching him in the World Cup, just going ape shit for France. So it was a real like beginning of my soccer player knowledge. Was Thierry Henry. So I mean, that being said, now that we get into our top three favorite Arsenal players of all time, I don't have to tell you who mine is. But what do you guys have? You want to kick it off, little D, little Daryl?
Oh yeah. So number 3, I will go with Patrick Vieira.
Okay.
Ever since that guy left, they haven't won a Premier League. It's just because I think they need somebody like him, somebody who's a dog, somebody who will go for that fight. So he's my number 3. He's a faithful soldier of Arsenal back then. Number 2, Dennis Bergkamp. you're just talking about pure class with that guy. The wonderful goals, the strike, dribbling, everything. And number one, I guess that's just everybody's favorite player, Thierry Henry,
Of
the
course.
king. You just can't, you just can't choose anybody. He has to be that guy. He has to be on your top two.
Absolutely. Agree. What you got, Mike?
Yeah, fairly similar. Three though, I'm gonna go Fabregas. Came in 16 years old. Uh, Winger went and got him. Did his thing. Had to leave at some point. Don't necessarily like how he left, but he played hard for the badge. Two, man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really love the guy for his time in the shirt. I really, really enjoyed him. Fucking Alexis Sanchez, man. I loved Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal. I really
All
loved him
right.
at Arsenal, man. Absolute baller. Just me personally, you know what I mean? As far as all-time greats, he's not necessarily up there, but loved him at the club. And then, obviously Henry, number one. I mean, what else needs to be said, goddamn goat. So, you know, that's what it is. But yeah, I really love Sanchez at the club though.
I thought you were gonna have Lacazette number one. Man. Ocho and I thought you were gonna have Lacazette up there, man.
So what now?
So Ocho and I thought you were gonna have Lacazette as number one.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Your boy. Oh man, we're never gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you die down from that one. What you got, Ocho?
Y'all could probably guess these from my top 3 games or my top 2 games. Fabregas, number 3. He was just so much fun to watch. His ability and his vision to just thread the ball through defenses. Fabregas, number 3. Number 2, Van Persie. Just seeing him for Arsenal and the Netherlands. I mean, just dude loved to score goals and was good at it. It was so fun to watch. And then, of course, not a surprise, number 1, Thierry Henry. Done.
Absolutely. I pretty much had almost the same as you guys. Walcott was my number 3, and then
What?
yeah,
Oh, what?
Yep. I know. He was one I remember too. Just
All
as a
right.
kid, just always in the field. I just always remember seeing him. He'd pop up. I think he ended up having like over 250 appearances for the club. Somewhere, I think I had 65 goals on there or something like that.
Okay.
He's a guy I just remember was just all over the place, but easily forgotten at the same time. I'll admit. Number 2, I had Bergkamp as well, and then of course Henry, greatest Arsenal player I think ever. I know that goes back a really long way, but I feel really confident saying he's probably the best Arsenal player ever.
I think it's a solid assessment.
Yeah.
Hey, I got 2 more real quick. I got 2 more. Just
Go ahead.
personal favorites. Personal favorites. Guys who, if it weren't for injury, I think would have been like world class. Number 1, Abu Dhabi,
Oh yeah,
France International. Man, it was there for him. It was there for him to be great. Another one of my personal favorites, Super Jack Wilshere. Love that guy. We'll never forget that performance he had against Barcelona in Champions League. I mean, hey man, yeah, those are 2 of my other personal favorites.
Not too bad honorable mentions, my friend. I do remember some Wilshere. Man,
Almighty Jack.
Jack, man,
Big
Super
Jack.
Jack.
Getting jacked.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we usually will shout out some soccer news from around the world. I had a little idea. See if Ocho loves this too. Give me your thoughts, gentlemen, on how we should end this Premier League.
Let's keep on going.
Keep on going.
Finish it. Finish it.
How? How the hell do you do that? Just keep on going. What?
Hey, I tell you, I think what they could really do, I think something they should look into is playing at like each other's training grounds. Like there don't need to be a crowd. There don't need to be anything. Like you have a full like regulation size field at your training ground. Just play. I mean, obviously have like a skeleton camera crew, so we could watch the games maybe. But if not, just play the games behind closed doors at the facilities. So you don't have to worry about where you're at. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a
Yeah,
way to do it. Definitely want to finish it out though.
Man, I was thinking about this. We got a podcast coming up, and the opposing not the guys that are interviewing us asked us what are our thoughts on that. And I was thinking about the American style of brackets. You know, when you get to the end, you got to find a winner. I think if you split the league up into the top 12 and then the bottom 8, top 12 would go and play for the top 4 spots. That would be really easy to do. You'd have the top 4 teams, they all get a bye. And then the next 8 play each other. You do 12 versus 5, 11 versus 6, yada, yada, yada. Whoever wins those plays 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you just play it out. You see who can get that top 4 spot. And then looking down on the bottom half of the league, you'd have kind of like the first 3 teams to lose 2 games, relegation. And this is the only reason I say this is because if you try and finish the season out, you got to think about all the games that need to be played. Every weekend, there's got to be 10 games because there's 20 teams. And then you got to imagine that's just one league. Then you got to go to the championship. How many games are going to be played in the championship? I'm not sure if there are 20 teams in championship, but let's just say there are 20. That's another 10 games you got to play. That's only one weekend. That's 10 games in one weekend. So, do y'all know what week we're in the EPL right now?
I think it's like 28.
28. Okay, so that means you have 10. You got 10 more games left. So that means you have 100 games that you have to play. That seems like way too much to try and achieve right now when the whole world is quarantined and trying to maintain some kind of economy. I think trying to play out the rest of the season is too much to ask for. If you just reduce it to a little bracket style and you set it up to where top 4 people, they get the Champions League spot, top 2 behind them, or top 6, 5 and 6, they get Europa, and then you do the same thing for the bottom of the table. I think that would work.
So let's say you're a team that's in in one of those bracket spots for the top 4. You're in the top 12, right? We got 10 games left. But let's say on your schedule, 4 of those games are against bottom 8 teams. You're taking that away from them, and it's like, yo, those are wins that you could have that's gonna catapult you into that top 4.
I don't agree. It's not a guaranteed win. It's definitely not a guaranteed win.
It's not. But I mean, come on though.
You can't. That is a valid point. I will give that to you. That's a valid point. Playing a team with that's below 500. Let's just to use American terms. Playing a team that's below 500 wins and losses, that should be a guaranteed win. But I think bringing those details into the equation, I think you have to just throw that out because there's a much bigger issue here. How do we end the season fairly? I think you got to do it bracket style. That's the only way to make it fair. Just go head to head. If you win, you move on. If you lose, well, at least you're still in the league.
Yeah, so somebody's going to get screwed. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be the lower end.
The way I look at it is, since the World Cup is going to be in the winter, you're already going to have the Copa America next year and probably the Golden Cup next year. Just try to finish it by the winter. So like that, you're prepared for whenever the World Cup comes by. Because if you do it bracket style, yeah, you might end up where you're supposed to end up. But what's going to happen when the World Cup starts and you still have that same schedule where, in the winter, you're going to have actually all your teams will be done because they're all going to be under national teams playing the World Cup. Try to finish the season in a way where you might end it up in the winter, do it for next year. And like that, you still going to have players who can still go to the World Cup. Right now, they're probably going to be able to play Copa America and all that because you're going to be in the winter. You have all this time where they're going to have time off to recoup and do whatever they need to do in order to be with their national teams.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think there's enough time for the World Cup. The World Cup isn't until 21, December of 21. So I think you still have 2 more years. You still have next year. That's going to be hopefully that the integrity of that league will be kept. And then the following season, that's when you have that World Cup in December. So you still got about a season and a half. If you end this season as soon as possible, you can at least keep the integrity of the following season, which I think that should be the overall goal that should be the main priority of the decision. How do we finish this season and keep the integrity of next season? How do we maintain that following season? Because if this season runs into that season, then that season runs into the following season, and then you get this tumble. You get this snowball effect of all these seasons affecting the following seasons. One of the seasons has got to be sacrificed. I think you do it now. This is the perfect excuse to sacrifice a season. Just try and make it as fair as possible. Try and do a knockout bracket style, and then just move on. Like if a team complains about their schedule, the weakness of their schedule, like, look, man, sorry, like there's a fucking pandemic. Suck it up. At least, if you're in the top 12, you're secured a spot for next season in EPL. If you weren't able to get out of that top 8, all you have to do is just not lose twice. And if you're, a team that's 13, 14, 15, 16, hopefully, you've been able to figure out your team. Hopefully you've gotten to a point now where you can not lose two. I don't know. I'm not saying this is the correct answer, but to go on what you're saying, Darrell, is I feel like if we play this season out, it's going to affect every season after this. And you gotta, one of those seasons has to be sacrificed. You gotta do it. You just gotta, one of them has got to be sacrificed. And I think this is the one to do it. They've already moved the Euros to next summer. So it's going to be crazy to even think about that. You're going to have the Euros next summer, and then within 6 months, you're going to have the World Cup. Unless I'm having my dates incorrect. Is the World Cup, is it December of 22 or is it December of 21?
I thought it was 22.
22.
Yeah, I was thinking it's 22.
All right, I got some clarity here. Hold on. So the 2022 World Cup will be played December of 2022. So that'll give them an extra 6 months past the summer. I mean, this Euro is going to be pushed till next summer. So that's going to be crazy already. And then, Darrell, you were saying, you got Copa America coming up. You've got other tournaments around the world. I'm glad I'm not making this decision.
Tell you what, if your contract's about to be up, great opportunity for you to start making some money.
Yeah.
You got tons of opportunity for you to start making money. Man, it's gonna be wild. That's why we've been asking everybody that we've been having on the show lately.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to get everybody else's perspectives on it. It's the greatest question without an answer. It's great. We love
Weird
it.
times, man. Weird times right now.
Absolutely. Well, boys, you ready to put a bow on this bitch? It's been
It's been
fun.
a good time. It's been a good time.
It's been very fun. It's about that time. We give a quick shout out to someone. Could be anybody in the world, soccer or non-soccer related. Mike, would you like to go first?
Well, since we're here, man, it's the episode. Shout out to Arsenal Football Club, greatest club in the world. We're coming. I said this on the first Arsenal podcast. Do not let Arsenal somehow qualify for Champions League this year. The transfer market is open for your favorite club once Arsenal qualifies for Champions League. That's all I'm saying. It's open for your favorite club because, man, it's
Get the checkbook ready.
It's London. It's London. It's Arsenal Football Club. Players want to come to Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. Your favorite player wants to come to Arsenal. It's just they don't have the backing of Champions League at the moment. But once that comes, fellas, it's gonna be on and popping. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. So shout out to the club. Shout out to the club. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all letting me come on again too.
Anytime, my man. Anytime. Absolutely. What you got, little Darrell?
Nah, man. Shout out to all the Arsenal fans, especially in Louisiana and New York, since I know y'all been having a bad time with all this craziness going on. And also, Shout out to them. Stay safe and hope we can get through all this together, healthy and alive.
Beautifully said. Absolutely. Ocho, what's your shout out?
I got to shout out two people. My buddies in Brazil, Felipe and Johanna. They're helping me with a new business venture right now with some Brazilian food called acai. They're doing a lot of work behind the scenes that not a lot of people see, and I'm hoping that sky's the limit with this new business venture. So, Felipe, Johanna, I appreciate your work and hope for good things in the future. Valeu.
I've tried the acai. It's real deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never had real acai until I tried Ocho's acai, and it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Almost ate the whole damn thing though, so it was a good thing. Shit's good. Um, I think my shout out, guys, is going to be to you guys, to Mr. Mike, Arsenal Malone, and Little Darrell Gooner. Thank you guys for taking time to hang out with us today. We very much appreciate it. We obviously know everybody's schedule is super busy right now, binge watching shit, and and work here and there. For those of you who have it, but no, we really, really appreciate it. Uh, it honestly, we love Ocho and I love to see the passion. You guys both have the passion, especially you have the passion for your team. There's nothing better than that. So we love seeing it. It's one thing for us to just give a script to people and tell us come on the show and just sit here and talk. You guys, y'all went deeper than that. Y'all definitely showed us that you had the love and you wanted to do this. So we very, very much appreciate that, guys. Y'all can come back on anytime you want to. Y'all can come to us with episode ideas. We'd love to have you. So with that being said, everyone, all you footy soldiers out there, please be sure to take some time. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for all those twatters out there. We're at Footy Fetish Show. We want to thank all those soldiers, other Footy Fetish Army who are holding it down out there in all the different lands across the world. We now have them in Iraq. We now have them in Zimbabwe. We love it.
Kuwait, we got them
Kuwait.
in Oman and United Arab Emirates, Dubai.
Woo!
Dubai,
Got
big
some,
money,
some
big
new countries
money.
following. Yeah, man.
UAE, baby.
Arab money.
Yes, I forgot about that song. Shoot, we gotta put that in this episode.
We getting Arab money.
Love it. And thank you guys. This wouldn't be a show without any of y'all, with any of you guys here right now. Mike, Lil Darrell, Ocho, your booty. Wouldn't be a show. It wouldn't be a show without you guys listening. We very much appreciate that. Please keep it up for us. Keep spreading that word of the balls and the feet. This has been the gospel of the footy fetish. This has been the Footy Fetish Show, where the fetish is real and the footy is soccer. Thank you guys.
Peace.